Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Everywhere on the internet I'm hearing Nazgul, 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 and iflight. I know iflight. iflight makes some really nice products. I haven't seen the Nazgul and I haven't had my hands on one until today. I contacted my friends over at Banggood and they sent me one over for a review. This is the iflight Nazgul5. This is the 6S version of the Nazgul. So let's crack it open and see what we got. So right off the hop we have two sets of Nazgul 5140 props. I want to say I heard that these are pretty decent props. Pretty thin, pretty flexible, but we'll see how well that works. You would think if they're making a bind and fly and they're packaging props with it, that the props would be ideal with the drone itself. So let's go ahead and let's get to the main course. So we have the drone itself, very well packaged. Nothing really special about the way the frame looks. It's just like every other drone frame. It's a two arms with a top and bottom plate and some electronics and some spinny things on the ends of the arms. So it is dripping with TPU. There's TPU chin, there's TPU on the sides of the camera for some reason, like the camera was too small for the frame. There's TPU in the back end holding the SMA and the receiver antennas. So it does have a lot of TPU on it. It has a TPU rear bumper. There's probably, I don't know, 20 grams of TPU at least on this thing. But so far, I mean, it doesn't look like a bad drone. It looks pretty well built. It is pretty stiff. You can see it does have a interlocking design as far as arms go through the center here. Looks like 2 bolts to remove the arm, 1, 2. The bolt for the arm does share with the flight stack, so that isn't a super desirable trait. So yeah, the arm mounting bolt does go through the stack, so that's not super ideal, especially on an acro quad. They do have a big old fat capacitor attached to the back end of this thing. It's a 450 microfarad capacitor. So capacitor? Capacitor. It's a capacitor. Wow, what is wrong with me? XT60 connector, pretty much the standard stuff you would see. We do have a Caddx camera on here. So the flight controller is the Sussex EF4 flight controller, and it has a BL S ESC right up to 45 amps. This isn't the new BL 32 stuff. It's just a standard BL S. The soldering on it looks pretty darn good. Nothing crazy, no real big wicked wires. It does have a battery strap. This is not a very good battery strap. There's no grippy material on it. It does look like it's well stitched though, so I'll give it that. I'm not being a snob or picky, I'm just pointing out what is what. I do like this tape that they're using to hold the motor wires down. That is very nice. The motors, these are the Zing E motors. These are their economy line motors, which, I mean, even though they're economy line, these are really, really good motors. They're a 2207 1800 kV variant. Banggood's product listing, I think, says these are 17s, but they clearly are 1800 kV. Focus. Focus. Come on. I know you can do it. Focus. Come on. There you go. 1800 kV. So, and this one was a bind and fly. It came with a r-xsr pre-installed inside of there. I am flying Access, so regardless, I'm going to have to get that out of there. And, well, I guess I don't have to. I don't have to get that out of there to bind to it, but I'm going to choose to because I really like Access. I've been able to notice a small performance increase with the Access protocol. So we have the drone there. We'll see what else we got in the box. We have a bag of screws. Probably just extras in case you lose some stuff. That's cool. Prop nuts. These motors aren't reverse prop nut It comes with a rubber battery mat. It's nice they include this, but I'm going to go ahead and use some Uma Grip just because Uma Grip is the best stuff. Comes with a controller for the Caddx FPV camera. And in this bag we have our FPV antenna, our 5.8 gigahertz antenna. We have two forever tubes to cover up our 2.4 gigahertz RC antennas, and a little, it's like a thumb knurl for your VTX antenna, and an extra battery strap. So this thing is ready to rock. There is nothing you need other than obviously lipos, goggles, and a controller to fly this thing, but it is pretty much ready to rock. Let's get under the hood and take a closer look at what we got. We have our Caddx FPV camera. This is a Caddx Ratel. I've never used a Ratel, so I'm kind of looking forward to this. It's weird that they have this TPU mat between the camera and the side plates, as if the side plates were cut with about 2 extra millimeters of gap. And I don't know if that's to cut down on vibrations or if it's a styling thing or what, but it is kind of strange. Either way, not a big deal, but it's different. I've never seen that before. In the back here we have our other antenna mounting stuff. Let's go ahead and pull this up and out. I do like the way they designed this to just kind of cradle the FPV antenna and the receiver. So our SMA pigtail is a MMCX connector, so we can just kind of pull this whole assembly off of here. So you've got your antenna, pigtail, and you have your receiver, your RC receiver. And let's see what we got here. We have a Force VTX. I don't know who makes that. I don't know who makes that. Supposedly it's a Immersion RC Tramp protocol. It does have a microphone on there. As you can see, there is a condenser mic there. We've got a place for the 200-pound gorilla to manipulate the thing. It does use TBS Smart Audio, or no, it uses IRC Tramp protocol. Has pit mode, 25 watt, 100, 200, 400, and 600 milliwatt. It does also provide 5 volts to your camera. I don't believe that they are using it. No, they are not. They're not using the 5 volts out to the camera. Let's keep on digging. So that is on a pigtail. So that's kind of nice. Here is our flight controller. So it's, like I said, it's the Sussex E F405. I'm not really sure what the E stands for. I'm assuming it's probably economy. So right here is something that's a little concerning. We have a little stray blob of solder right here on 3.3 volt pad. It's pretty well on there. It's not like it was a splash or anything like that. It's well adhered. I'm assuming because all this stuff gets soldered by hand, whoever went to go solder the 5 volt accidentally touched that. We do have solder here on this ground pad, but we have nothing attached to it. And this is all for the receiver. It looks like the receiver is getting its ground from here instead. So using RX2 for our input. I'll probably run F port on this. And here is our camera. Video in, 5 volts ground. Everything is mounted with silicone gummies. So we'll go ahead and peel this one off here. Oh my God, what a mess. So silicone gummies with extra little bits of silicone gummy on top of the silicone gummy. Gummy. All right, and let's go ahead and get this guy off of here. So the connection between the ESC and the flight controller is a cable, which has become pretty standard. Oh man, and there's more half gummies underneath the stack. So this thing is just stacks on stacks of silicone. So here's something interesting with this flight controller is they have these big capacitors here. I think that's what these are, and I really haven't seen these on anything other than the Diatone Mamba boards. I think there's four. I think those are primarily for noise filtering for the video feed. So it's nice to see those if that's what they are. If they're not if that's not what they are, then never mind. I'll shut the hell up. So there is solder pads for if you don't want to use this connector here to go between your ESC and your flight controller. There are solder pads broken out on the top, which is kind of nice. Because sometimes these get ruined and you have a way to connect it to the flight controller. As far as from the ESC, I am not 100% sure if there are solder pads to get to it. I don't see solder connections from the flight controller. So, or I don't see solder connections from the ESC. So if you damage this side, you're probably out of luck. Decent looking FETs. We have some stray shmoo. It looks like it's just solder flux. We have some stray stuff floating around, making a mess. What the heck? No, it's not really that big of a deal. I'm just mostly looking for balls of solder. Their soldering isn't bad. They're definitely using too much solder. This shouldn't be like a big blob like this. This should be more of a fillet. It should be like a concave looking fillet. I don't know other way to explain it. And here you can see that there is some wicked wire. So these wires are wicked about, I'd say a good 5 millimeters up the wire. So this is not good practice. You shouldn't have any wicking up the wires because this does create a very brittle spot on the motor wires. And it seems to be that way all the way around. That's typically too much solder, too much heat, too much time causes that. Main discharge leads. Again, iflight, you're using far too much solder. This should not be a big ball like this. You should see some contour to it. But it doesn't look bad. It's just could be better. Yeah. Okay. Not too shabby. It's pretty much what I expected. iflight's a pretty reputable company. They've been around for, well, you know what? I don't know how long they've been around for. I've heard about them for a while. I've bought quite a few of their products. I've been fairly happy with just about everything, except for, spoiler alert, the PDB and flight controller that I purchased for my X-Class build. If you haven't been following that, I really recommend you go over and check out this playlist here. It has all my X-Class shenanigans on there. I highly recommend you check that out because that's been a very interesting build. And I have been having some issues with it. Quite a bit of issues. I've been going through ESCs like, I don't know, like something you go through a lot of. I don't know, it's late. I'm out of words. But I think I've tracked the problem down to either a faulty PDB, which, yeah, if you're shaking your head going, no way, I'm right there with you. Faulty PDB or faulty flight controller, because I have replaced the PDB and the flight controller with some Maytech products, and I have not cooked an ESC yet. So, oh, and to iflight's credit, I contacted them, told them what's going on, told them I replaced all that stuff. Problem's gone. They refunded me for all the ESCs that I have cooked, and they've also refunded me for the PDB and flight controller. Really no real questions asked other than just what troubleshooting I did. So good on you, iflight. I really appreciate not having to fight with you. Even more of a reason why I would buy their stuff. You know, every manufacturer gets a faulty batch here and there. So anyways, I'll get this thing back together, go poke around on Betaflight, and then we'll get out and go rip the snot out of this thing. This, I'll be honest, this is my first 6S acro quad. I've had plenty of 6S race quads. I've been 6S race quad since I really kind of got into it, but I have not converted any of my acro quads to 6S. Not that I fly a whole lot of acro anyways, but, you know, I might just do so now since I got this thing. All right, guys, let me finish getting this thing together, and I'll catch back up with you in a minute.
All right, so this is the maiden flight of the iflight Nazgul. I did go into beta flight and fix a few things that were major errors. I don't know what the heck's with these companies and why they do the things they do, but I would never trust a drone without going through the configuration. They did have reverse prop setup, so that's kind of cool. Left, right, left, forward. Seems to be all right. Let's give her a go. Got this on 200 milliwatts. Just gonna try getting a feel for the rates. I've broken many motors flying through here. Rates feel about beta flight stock, about 600 and some odd-ish. This is pretty heavy craft with the GoPro and a 1300 milliamp 6S LiPo on it, but it handles really good. Like I've said before, I've never flown a acro quad on 6S. So this does have a lot more authority than what I remember my 4S quads flying with, even though they were a bit lighter. Camera comes out of the box set up as a PAL camera, apparently. I think it was set up as NTSC. The screen would be right at the bottom of the symbology there. It's hard to debate what's better, PAL or NTSC. FPV camera looks really nice. It's got kind of a reddish tint to it. It is early winter, late fall here, so there's a lot of leaves on the ground.
30 seconds.
Pretty good tune. I'm fairly impressed with the tune.
Seconds.
Flies really well. Really locked in.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Ignore the
2,
radio. I got a 2-minute
1.
timer set up on
Timer
my arm
elapsed.
switch for racing. No bobbles, no real stupid things going on here. There's our first good crash. I did that on purpose. Yeah. Still seems to be flying just fine. I have the GoPro running without Hypersmooth on, just to see what it looks like. Not taking into account my not so stellar piloting skills. Range is good. This is my first time using my HDOs in a long time. I've been flying my SkyZone 03 O's since I got them. Yeah, don't like the HDOs anymore. The screens are not very good, at least compared to the SkyZones. But these companies, they really need to figure out their beta flight configuration. Like, there are some just glaring errors. Like, they had angle mode on all the time. Like, there was no way to turn it off without going to beta flight and actually like configuring it on a switch. They had it set to an aux channel, but the entire range of that aux channel, which it's like, what the hell, guys? They didn't have air mode on at all. Like, they really need to fix that. Or at least put a big sticker on the front of the box saying, this thing is not configured. All right, I should probably come back in before I kill this battery. All right, a little more freestyle action with the Nazgul. I'm gonna do fly some gates. A little bit of bounce back there when you do things that you're not supposed to do. Wow, this thing really sucks the amps. It just goes to the moon though. Wow. This is a good flying quad, folks. Out of the box with a little bit of setup, no tuning, just setting up modes and switches and such. This is a really good flying quad. Very impressed. There's nothing special about it except for that it flies really well.
20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final one elapsed.
Doing all them flippy floppies. Ugh. Cat just rubbed against my legs, freaked me out.
Yeah, guys, this thing is a awesome flying quad. I highly recommend it. Go ahead and check out that link down in the description below if you were interested in this. Like, subscribe, continue to subscribe. Check out my Patreon page. I do monthly giveaways on there if you really want to help me out. All right, folks, I'm going to go rip some more packs. I absolutely love this thing. I will see you all next time. Bye.